want to introduce us first and what we are and who we are and why we are thinking about this podcast. And then talk about different topics that may be helpful to others that we have experienced. So think like if you would like to just say who you are quickly and
Okay, well, when I introduce myself, I introduce myself simply as Marina. If you ask me what do I do, I say I raise my family. And when you ask me further, how do you raise your family? I really think we're shaping the future. And part of that future is understanding the different elements involved within a certain household. And mine shines through the lens of someone raising a special needs child. So if you ask me who I am, I will say I'm Marina, a special mother from a special family, gifted with a special child.
right.
But going beyond that, there's so much that needs to be understood about this specialness. And I think this is a beautiful podium through which to discuss the everyday nuances and challenges and successes of what every family with a special needs component goes through.
Right.
Now, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think, well, my name is Sine or Sana, depending where and who is calling me. Like if my family from our background is Sana, but the rest of the Americans usually call me Sine, so I'm okay with both names. And I think the way that I was introduced to Marina was a beautiful way because we met through our children in elementary school, and we were together ever since. And then it just happened that basically we end up both raising two different types of special needs children, and that made us very close, I think, in so many ways, and we bonded in very different ways. And I was grateful that our children actually introduced us to each other, because ultimately, I mean, raising our children now, our children are in their 20s, 26, 25, 24, 23. And then, how old is the other? 17. So yeah, we have older children now.
We have a good array to
yes.
cover.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we went through a lot of trial and tribulation, basically, when we were raising our kids and growing pains together.
Pains, right.
And we thought about this podcast to actually share some of those growing pains, and hoping that we can help others that might be going through similar issues in the upcoming episodes. So we start this as introducing ourselves, and we hope to discuss a multitude of topics that we have gone through, and we hope to hear from you actually.
And we hope that this will be beneficial to those who are looking for answers and just someone who can relate to what they're going through.
Right, exactly. So I thought, like, for our first podcast episode, I was hoping to ask you this question: if do you feel that the advice that other parents who are raising just regular quote unquote children are helpful to you, or is it something that you can think about it from a different perspective as well?
That's a very good question, and a very common question. Being that before I had Dion, who is my third
Mhm.
child of 3 sons. I was a mother raising 2 typically developing children.
Right.
And the thought of raising a special needs child was not even in my train of thinking until Dion came along.
Right.
So the perspective, I think, of someone who isn't exposed to special needs
Mm-hmm.
is very different. And being in that situation is very different. In that, it was a lot easier to socialize with other mothers
Mm-hmm.
with typically developing children. And then comes Dion, and other mothers not always could relate. They could empathize,
Right.
but there were limitations also in how much I could do or commit.
Exactly.
Because when I would go somewhere, I couldn't focus on a conversation with another mother
Mm-hmm.
if I had to tend to Dion. And obviously, wherever you go, the needs of a special child do not stop
Right.
with geography,
Yeah.
So it was very different that way. So when you go somewhere,
Maybe like if you can talk about what is the special need for Dia, like if you can introduce it
okay,
a
well,
little bit, just
okay. So my son has autism,
Mm-hmm.
and every child with autism has different traits
Right.
depending on how their brain is wired, depending on how their nervous system processes stimulus. Something could be very loud to one child with autism, and another child maybe won't even notice it.
Right. Yeah.
So it changes, it varies from autistic child, or I should say autistic individual, from person to person. That's why the symbol of autism,
Mm-hmm.
if you notice, it's a puzzle. Pieces of a puzzle that we're trying to put together, each with a different color.
Right.
The color represents the different existences of autism, and the puzzle represents, it's twofold. It represents what we're trying to understand about the experience one has as an autistic individual, but it's also for them because they're trying to figure out their own puzzle of how to relate to a world where the stimulus is received differently
Right. Yeah.
than what they receive.
And that's the toughest part.
That's the
actually.
toughest part,
Yeah.
because the thing is, no stimulus is wrong. What they experience is real.
Right.
And what we receive from the same experience is also real, depending on how our bodies and our brains and our nervous system processes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. I just thought that it would be better, like if we introduce our kids and their ways of looking at the word and being and exist in the word first, and then we can discuss different things based on their experiences. And I think I relate to you in some similarities that Diane and my son Malak has, although Malak has a whole different types of neurodiversity with ADHD and also a mental illness that is called schizoaffective. And I think schizoaffective is not very well known because the percentage is smaller than other mental illnesses. I mean, when you think about depression or anxiety or things like that, a lot of people know it and can associate to it and can relate in so many ways. But when it comes to this, it's a little bit of some symptoms from schizophrenia and symptoms from mood swings. So it's a bit different than.
So, for someone who is not familiar with the world of schizoaffective, can you explain exactly what that means to a novice who's seeking to learn and understand?
So if we go back, because it comes from like the psychosis or even the schizophrenia. Schizophrenia deals with things like visual issues as well as auditory issues. So some people would look at would see things that in our word might not be real, but they can see it. Others hear things that we may not hear, like hear voices, for instance, in their brain that tells them to act this way or do something or be somewhere. And also there's a component of paranoia, and sometimes it can be very extreme paranoia, fear of everything. So, when a person is schizoaffective, can have components from these things, but it also can have component from like depression or bipolar, for instance, or mood swings. So the two of them combined can be very difficult to manage sometimes for the person who's going through them, but also for their caregiving. And so it could be things that just sitting, having a great time, and all of a sudden so unpredictable that screams and things like that happens. In the case of my son, he can be so ecstatic, like in happiness and all, and then you say something that doesn't seem as really bad, right? And he can blow up, for instance.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
In that experience, where does imagination and hallucination fit in?
So with in my experience with my son, like the hallucination, I can tell you a little bit of an example that happened recently, where he was sleeping and like he woke up all puzzled because he was panicking about something that he saw, and when I asked him what he saw, it was like some sort of three-dimensional kind of like ball that has spikes in it, that is like different spikes, different sizes of spikes, and he could see, according to him, he could see it in front of him. So when I went to him in the room, it was like in the room because he was sleeping, and then like he woke up scared from his sleep because he said that he could see this spiky kind of like three-dimensional spikes ball that is circulating in the room, in the air, basically. And it was coming with its spikes towards him, right? So it was scary. And for him, he could not differentiate between whether it's hallucination or reality, right?
Or a dream.
Because I told him at the beginning it was perhaps a dream. He kept saying, no, it's real, it's in front of me, I see it.
So when he woke up, did he see it still?
Yes, when he opened his eyes, he could see it, and he was talking to me. So what I did, because these are things that I have learned from different experts, like books that I've read or other things that I have, people in Facebook who are like these types of support groups that I think they were tremendous to actually helping me out going through this journey. And so I talked to him and I asked him to touch me and say, am I real? You see, I am real. Yeah, he said, yes, you are real. Because when I touched him, I said, I know you are real. Touch me, touch my hands. Think that I am real, to see if I am real. Am I real? And he said, yes.
So it brings you to a different mental
Right, to another mental state. And he said, yes. And I'm like, this is perhaps a dream. This is not real, right? Can you see that it is not real? because you're not touching it. Can you see that it's not real?
Did you
At least
ask
at that
him?
moment?
Did you ask him at that moment when you said, touch me, I'm real?
Yeah.
Did you also ask him, try to touch the bull with the spikes?
Yeah, I said, like, do you reach out to the bowl? Can you touch it?
Mhm.
And he said, no. He said, we are real. You and I are real.
Hmm.
And he said,
It's
yes.
interesting.
And he, after that, he was like so grateful and said, thank you, Mama. I love you so much. This is something that he always does with his ecstatic like moments. So I love you so much.
Because he feels the security.
Yeah, the security and all of that. And so, and then later he said, Mama, you've done such a great job there. Like you helped me through it,
Mhm.
which is something that I just learned, in the spaces that I've
Right.
like seen or whatever. And it's the journey of this is a little difficult because sometimes, like just like you said before, when you were a mother of just like typical children, like for me,
The
I was a
mindset
mom
is
of a
different.
typical child before Malak.
The skill set is
Skill
different.
set,
for-
it's
yeah.
completely different, and you don't know, right? So it's you try, and hopefully it works. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Mhm.
But you keep on trying and you keep on changing the methods and learning more in order to learn how to communicate the way that they know how to communicate.
Right.
Because we are so used to communicating in this typical word
World.
that we never
Yeah.
learn how to communicate.
So I have a question
That
for
way.
you. I have a question for you.
Mhm.
And this is actually a great tool that you just shared. That when a person is going through that, you say, touch me, touch you, are we real?
Mhm.
So that's a very helpful tool.
Mhm.
Um, what kind of tools did you find was effective in addition to that in bringing your son back to the
Moment.
reality of the moment?
Well, so this is, so like what I was saying about schizoaffective, there's the hallucination component sometimes, but there's also the anxiety and paranoia and depression, right? So for the anxiety, sometimes what I have learned through my journey is meditation and grounding techniques. And for if my son is going through some anxious period or episode, like we sit down and sometimes we do the breathing together,
Okay.
which is like the deep breathing, which you actually like breathe in. Like I walk him through this, like breathing 7 seconds, and then let it go like in 8. And then focus on a part of your body or focus on a part where you're letting that breathing go to. So I usually
You're
do it.
sending the
You're
energy.
sending that energy everywhere. Like I usually tell him to go from his hair all the way to his toes.
Right.
And those are really important grounding techniques because what they do is they focus your attention from wherever paranoia or fear that was going on. They focus it back to your body, and then it makes you more present in the moment. And then because a lot of it is like getting your brain from that thought. that
Yeah,
is
see,
taking
I was
over.
just going to ask you because you said there's the hallucination component, the anxiety component, the paranoia component, the depression component. So, are there any other components that stand out for you?
Well, it's for him, it's also like there is the ADHD, so sometimes it's like the focus, it's a little bit difficult.
Right, the spectrum.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
so it makes the focus very difficult in many ways. But even with all of these things that he goes through, I am so impressed with my child because he's always focusing on doing different things. I mean, he has been writing books, as you know, and he's actually writing a
He's an
fiction book.
explorer, adventurer.
He's an explorer. He's like he's also like very He's an artist in so many ways,
Yeah.
I think, like creative,
But
very
interesting,
creative.
he's
So-
also kind of a scientist.
No, he's a scientist, definitely a scientist with all the animals and the knowledge and all of that. And they've been doing podcasts with his brother, so that's really good. But I think it's a mixture, and knowing how to cope with the different components
Right.
at the different times that it happened has been a very difficult and challenging moments in our lives, because there's the anger component as well, right? So that is really at times is very difficult to deal with. But he has been, I mean, the way, if you ask me, the way to deal with some of these things, I swear by therapy and meditation and all of
So,
this, because
yeah,
they
I
have
wanted
been
to
very
bring-
helpful to us.
I actually wanted to delve a little deeper into the whole, you had mentioned meditation. Now, meditation is very powerful if you could bring yourself to that point.
Right.
But to get to that point when you're in such a state can be a challenge. Can you tell me a little bit more about the successes? Because meditation is something you have to have within you, like that personality, to be able to reach it.
Right, right.
You know, and not everyone can reach that state through meditation.
I think it's part of meditation that I really enjoy, because sometimes it works with my son, sometimes he's not capable of doing it, because it's like you said, if he's in a state that is different, it's a little bit difficult to go there. But what I enjoy about meditation is the fact that it refocuses your attention on something else. So, not the fact that you can reach the state. I mean, some people, when I was doing my meditation and I learned meditation within the center, some people just sit there and they were incredible how they reach a different state. I mean, you come to the center and you see them and they're completely in a whole different level that you cannot, I at least could not reach. You know, we can make noise, whatever, they are not there. They are completely in a different state in their brain. They cannot notice you whatsoever when you enter the room. But I think even if you cannot reach that, it's just changing the focus from whatever overwhelmingness that you were going through to a different state. It's already helpful. And I think with my son, we just try to reach that. Shift the focus to something else, where he feels grounded in the moment, rather than, oh my God, how does my future look like? Am I gonna survive?
You deal with the moment, you
Yeah.
deal with the fire before you deal with the devil.
Exactly. So that is helpful. Now, I mean, there are different types of meditations. The one that I practice, and sometimes I try it with my son, it's not as effective on my son, because I think, you know, like it's a different
So what
state.
is
It's
the
very hard.
practice?
The practice is just, the way I have learned this meditation is like trying to think about different things that have happened to you throughout the years or the day. I mean, you can stick just to the day. And then you can try to release those thoughts from your brain by saying, make it disappear. Usually you try to send it somewhere. Like for me, I
So
send
how
it
do
to
you guide a person to do that?
I think it's like to do stuff, to do meditation. Perhaps we can leave meditation to another time.
Yeah,
and
that's
then we
actually
can
a great
yeah. We
topic too.
can discuss it in another episode, like on how
think
to
that's a
guide it
great
and things
idea.
like that. So, because I was thinking perhaps that today would be nice to like just introduce ourselves and maybe you know, in next episodes talk about different journeys and different like skills that we have both accumulated with our kids that might be helpful to others as well. And then we hope that others as well can share some of their thoughts with us so we can exchange some of these ideas, because we are all like just
We're
moms of special need kids as well as typical kids trying to figure out how to move and help them, in this difficult journey, I have to admit, for them and sometimes for us as caregivers as well. So,
It is very valuable to be able to have a forum where we could all share, ask questions, and learn from one another. So a big part of this component is also what other parents in similar situations can share with us as well. So yes, it would be very lovely to hear from all of you.
all right. Thank you so much for being with us. And again, this is Marina, and I am Sana or Sanae, whatever you feel. Thank you. Have a good day.
I like that.